Hey everybody, Scroft here. Welcome back to FS25. I hope you're all doing really well. It's after Christmas. I'm back making videos, and we got something really good that dropped on Christmas Day, which was AutoDrive. Now, I predicted that it wasn't too far off when Courseplay came out, and I did my video just before I had a couple of days off for Christmas because of the fact I'd seen a few things hinting here and there, and also in the AutoDrive Discord server as well, that AutoDrive was in the works basically, and it was spot on. We got a Courseplay update that pretty much highlighted all to AutoDrive. It was like a load of revisions and updates to Courseplay in, I think it was 8.01 version basically, that just made note of AutoDrive, and because of that it was pretty obvious. But I did not expect AutoDrive to drop on Christmas Day. But it is out, and that's excellent news because we've now got Courseplay and AutoDrive. FS25 is starting to feel like it should be for PC players and all that, and we're going to be using it, and especially on what you can probably already tell, which is Calmsden. Now, this video I'm recording before my first episode on Calmsden, my Let's Play series that I'm starting today, but it's going to come out after, so I'm going to do 2 videos in one day because I feel like I'm on a bit of a catch-up, but Calmsden is my main focus. I'm excited to get on it. But I'm going to be using AutoDrive, and I'm also going to be using Courseplay whilst doing a bit of testing for Oxy. So I thought, let's do this video. I'll record it first because then I can use the route just going up from the shop up to the main farm. And then, it's there for me as I start my Let's Play series. But it's going to be good to try out. So what we're going to do is just talk about AutoDrive for anyone that's new to it, what it does, what it offers. Like I did in the video when I showcased Courseplay and just talked about it kind of briefly. There are going to be some tutorials that drop. As always, like I did on 22, there'll be some tutorials that drop for Courseplay, going more in depth and trying to learn how to use it for new players and maybe people that want to learn a little bit extra along the way that have already used it in maybe in 22. Same's going to happen with AutoDrive. Now, I will say this, there's a load of content creators that are going to be doing the same thing, but it's a good thing as well for you guys because you might have a preference who you want to learn from. You might prefer FSGs or ArgZs or other people that I can't think who do the tutorials. Disturbed Simulations, he does a lot of tutorials on AutoDrive and Courseplay and stuff like that. The great thing is, it's good for all you watching the video, and I think it can only be a positive thing. So I'm going to still do them, even though I know a lot of other creators are going to do the same. But it's about choice at the end of the day, and if you've got a good choice and you prefer maybe this one way of teaching to another, it's always a good thing. So, but I am going to be doing Courseplay and AutoDrive tutorials. To open up AutoDrive, that is the question. I am using a controller. I'm pressing right back on the Xbox controller and up on the D-pad at the same time, which is how it brings it up for me. I find that easier because I've always got a controller in my hand, either if I'm using my steering wheel or not in FS. So that's the easiest way for me. Same with like Courseplay. I press just the delete key on the keyboard to bring that up. But we're not going to be focusing on that. We're going to be focusing on AutoDrive. But we've brought it up. So let me just close that down and show you, if you're not using a controller, how to do it. It's Alt and keypad 0. So just hold Alt key and then keypad 0, and that's how it brings it up. Same again to close it down. So Alt and keypad 0 will bring it up. And then basically what you've got here is just your HUD that you're going to be using in-game to get through and make a route. Before we go into the HUD, let's just talk to anyone that's a new player and coming onto AutoDrive for the first time what it does. It's a network system, basically, where you can record routes. So, for example, if you wanted to record the road network and the layout of a map, you can do that. You can make it two-way. So, if, say, you're in the UK and you drive on the left side, you can have the left side traffic going one way and the same coming back the other way, and you can record it. You can make it as sophisticated as you want. You can do all the turns and going in and out of gate entrances. You can set field boundaries. Everything you could think of. So anywhere you want a track to go autonomously on its own without you obviously driving it, as an AI'd worker or even a simulated, if you're hiring workers on your farm, you can have that. And it is a lot more sophisticated than what you get currently in base game. And I know a lot of players will be like, but what's the difference? We've already got that. But you technically haven't. And even if you went on a modded map, this is the only way you're going to really get something that will work really well. And using Courseplay and AutoDrive together is highly recommended because of the fact you can do so much. You can have multiple harvests on the go. They can be harvesting one field and also taking the grain to a silo, even coming off the field automatically when they know they've maybe ran out of manure, for example. They're doing some muck spreading. They'll go to the manure fill point on their own, fill up, and then go back to the field. You can do all that with AutoDrive and Courseplay combined. It really is like the perfect combination it's like a match made in heaven, AutoDrive and Courseplay. So the fact that you've got AutoDrive and Courseplay now is where we want to be at as players, for PC players, for a Farming Simulator 25. But yeah, that's basically what it does. Probably better to just quickly show you these modes, because the modes is what you're going to use when you're actually hands-on with AutoDrive. You've got the drive mode currently, which is just driving from point A to point B, for example, which is what we're going to set up here. Then you've also got the pick up and deliver. So we want to go from one location, pick up a substance, which is why this grain symbol here is. It could be like wheat, depending on what you're hauling. If you've got like a liquid tanker on the back, you'll get all the liquid options. If you've got a trailer for silage and stuff like that, you'll get all the forage selection options, and the same for grain and things like that along that line. And maybe a muck spreader would be obviously the things you can have in that. So that's just like a pick up and deliver option. You've also got deliver. So if you're just going to deliver an item, it'll unload at that point. And then you've got a load point as well. So you go to from one destination to another and load up, basically. And then you've got unload combine, which again is super cool. Probably the one that I use the most, as well as drive. Sometimes pick up and deliver is also using that to go and sell if I'm doing it using a work, especially in Let's Play series. I use them a lot more then. But unload combine is basically what it sounds like. It will stick with the combine, it will unload, and then it will drive back onto the course and maybe unload your silo or take it straight to a sell point, depending on what you want to set up. And then you're back to the drive mode. So that gives you an idea of what you can do. So let's go into settings now, which is this button here. Now, there's so many settings. You've got the vehicle settings, which is just for the vehicle that we're in. You can see that it's just about cornering speeds, things like that. I always try and tend to turn down the cornering speeds just a little bit, like maybe 75 or something along them lines, just to make its life a little bit easier on them corners, because they can be a bit crazy at times, depending, like, what they're driving. If it's a faster vehicle that can do, a higher speed, I would turn the cornering speed down. You've got a lot of settings here that we won't go into on this. I do want to turn off automatic refueling though and repairing. The way that works is if on the network for the whole map that you're playing on, you've got a refuel point or even a repair point, and it notices that your fuel level's getting a little bit low, or even the maintenance of the vehicle, it will automatically go to that point and do it. But again, that's where I kind of don't want it to take it into its own hands, because it costs money, and then I'd rather be in control of that aspect of the game. But it's there as an option, which is obviously really clever and can help out a lot of players as well. So that's the only thing I'm going to change on that one. But remember, you got to change that for each vehicle, because it's a vehicle setting. If I jump into another vehicle now, it would still be on yes for them. So now you've got user settings, which is kind of universal for everything. And the most important one I'd say in this is, would you prefer the ground level is the line height? So when you'll see it in a second, you can either have the line height above the vehicle or on the ground. They're the two options you're pretty much going to get, which is ground level or above the tractor. I normally have it at ground level, but I know a lot of people probably prefer it above the ground. It's a bit like a 50-50 split is what I've noticed. So try and find what you prefer. It's easier to see above the ground, but I think it's easier to record when it's on the ground, because, well, it's just when you're driving, if you're first person, it's not like coming through the window, and it's just quite off-putting. But also, I think it's easier to judge when it's on the ground if you're kind of doing the points yourself. But we're not going to go too far into using it in this video anyway. We're just going to do the basics anyway. We're not going to go too in-depth with these settings, but we're on AutoDrive main settings now. Again, there's like driver wages, Pathfinder algorithms. I mean, a lot of that stuff you're probably not going to go into. And then you've got non-functional settings for AutoDrive, which is like the turn light, automatic, beacon lights. Do you want them to have beacon lights on when driving? Yes or no? I prefer it when they do, because most of the time if they're on the road, they're going to be having beacon lights on. I prefer it. Hazard lights, they put on while reversing. It's a nice little touch to have. Working lights when in a silo bunker. Again, nice touch to have. And use working lights when unloading or unloading at a trigger. So, again. Then you've got a load of debug settings as well. So it's probably important to mention that this is on GitHub right now. A link will be in the video description for this. So yeah, download it from GitHub. Link will be in the video description, or ModHub if eventually, the finished kind of AutoDrive version gets published to ModHub anyway. But anyway, enough faffing. Chatted quite a long time there. Let's get into this. So we'll go through these buttons first and what they actually mean. As and when you're setting up your kind of routes, this is a drop-down box that you're going to have them all in. So you might have a location that you've saved, like a waypoint called farm silo or milk refill point, or even a sell point name, for example. So that's where these will go. You can put folders in, sort them out in folders and everything like that. So I'll show you how to do that in a second. But right now we can't do anything. We can start the engine and drive around, but it's not going to record anything because we need to make sure we're in editing mode. So when we go into editing mode, we get a few extra buttons here that show up. Also, if there was anything on the map right now, don't want to do that. If there's anything on the map right now, like a waypoint going across here, they would all show as soon as you go into editing mode. So when you come out of editing mode, it kind of hides it all, but when you go in, obviously you want to see it because you're editing. So let's just talk about these buttons. These are speeds. So that's the speed on the road. That's a working speed. So you can control it. If you want to turn it down, it's possible to do that. I'm just using a mouse wheel to scroll through. This is the amount of loops that it will do. So if you've got 100,000 litres in your grain silo and you want to sell it all because it's the best time, so you take it to one sell point, but your trailer only holds 20,000 litres. You can just set that now by right-clicking on the mouse, and it'll, which, I mean, it's at 90, but we don't want to do that. I've just right-clicked. So if you left-click, you could set that to 5. So it's going to do 5 loops to sell that much grain. We've also got a parking feature as well, so we can set up waypoints and then just tell it we want to go park there. You can just set parking points for each vehicle and stuff like that. So eventually I'll get into that and we'll show you how to do that. So if you just press the park button, he'll go back to his, technically like his home, and park up that equipment. This is kind of like move on to the next point. So if you've got a trailer again and it's set to only move off when it gets to about 70% or 90% or whatever, and it's only at 60%, it'll just sit there and wait, and there might not be any more grain anyway. So you can just press that button, it'll carry on. Now that one's the mode which I've showed you about already. You can change through the modes like we spoke about, and that's pretty much it. This button is how you set it going. So if you just press that, it'll enable or disable, or basically drive or stop. So let's do it. We're gonna go into editing mode. So I've left clicked to get into editing mode. We'll start the engine up, and what we want to do is I just want to do a route basically from the dealership all the way up to the farm. And what I want to do here is I want to select record. I'm going to left click on record. So you'll see a little points drop down here. That was because I left clicked and kind of was starting the recording now. If you right click, however, you'll see that there's a purple one now. That means it's two-way. So the route's going to be two-way. It means we can go, so either we're going from the farm to the shop or we're going from the shop to the farm. We can go either direction. So I want to do a two-way loop here because I feel like it's probably the best thing to do, just to show you. But like I said, you can make it single. What I'll do though in a second is we'll go to single because we want to kind of get more on the left side. So if there is oncoming traffic, it separates it out. There is also traffic on the map, so it's going to be interesting because it's a very tight lane. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. So let's just start driving here. This is our two-way route. And then here I'm going to put a waypoint. So if you've noticed, let's just try and zoom in. The red kind of line that's pointing towards the waypoint on the ground there, that is going to be what I call the dealership. Now to add a waypoint, it's this one, this symbol here with the plus, like a waypoint, and then we want to just put dealership. Right, so what I've just done is I've just stopped. Now the reason I wanted to stop is to show you that you can carry on. So if you stop recording, you can carry on. So see how the red line's sticking or pointing to the closest waypoint? All I have to do, right clicking, and it will carry on. Now there is a setting you can have where it will automatically snap to when you start, and also it will automatically snap when you're finished. Yeah, there you go. Auto connect at the start is on for me, so yes, but no, I don't have it auto connect at the end. That's the way I normally do it, and it's luckily set to that. You also have collision detection if you want to turn that on. I keep it as default, so it's not on. So let's record, carry on, just driving around. Again, this is very simple. I mean, it's technically, you could say, it is the basics of AutoDrive, but, you know, it's, yeah. we'll just say it's the basics. I mean, there's loads more I could get into, and I will do. But that for me is pretty much sorted. So there we go. We've started there. We've done a bit of a loop. But what we need to do now, because you see there's nowhere for it to go, and because it's two-way, it could either come up here, go that way, or it can go that way and that way. But now, connecting that to this is what I want to do, but I want to show you can do it without actually driving. So what we can do is if we press left control and hold on to it and then press left mouse button, you can see that waypoints are dropping. Now, you can put them anywhere. You can also hold the right mouse button, pick them up and place them anywhere you want. Now, to delete them, you hold left Alt, and left mouse button. Clicking on them deletes them. So if we place like one here and one here, you can see now automatically I'm just holding left Alt here and pressing my left mouse button. It's doing a loop automatically as if I was recording and driving. And you can see the difference now between a two-way blue and a single-way green. So what we can do here is just hold Alt, left Alt, and then left click, and we can just delete all these waypoints off. But that's what we're going to do to kind of complete this network here. So we're going to hold left control, and I'm going to draw by placing down just some waypoints here. So what I have to do now is left click on that. You'll hear that beeping noise, and then connect it by just clicking the other one. So that's left click. And again here, left click that one. It'll go green to that. And there you go. You've got it. So now with it being green, you know it's always going to go up that way and then come back down this way and go out. Now what you can do, if you wanted to as well, you can hold left shift, click on a waypoint. You'll see that it's gone orange now. So what that does is basically only take this route if you need to get to a waypoint that you can only get to by taking that route. So they're really good for like field entrances or maybe a dirt track. Now, the reason why you do that, say you've got a dirt track that leads to fields and the waypoints are in the field, so you have to take it to get to the fields. But the algorithm might look at that dirt track and think, oh, I can get a bit of a shortcut here. So it won't stick to the main roads. It might take the shortcut just to get to another location that's not needed. You know, it's not a waypoint in the fields. So the good thing about that is it says, no, even if you're trying to get to a waypoint, do not take the shortcut unless you have to because a waypoint's on that shortcut. Hopefully that'll make sense. We'll go into that a bit more, but I'm just saying if you hold shift, you can, you know, click the waypoints and it will basically do this for you. So I'm going to leave it like that. Job done. So we'll have to take this route because we need to go that way. Pretty straightforward. Now, if I didn't want to do that, and I wanted it to be two-way, but without recording it, it's like, how do I make that two-way now? All I have to do first is click that one to that one, and it's now a two-way. But because I pressed shift and made it that kind of route, which is the yellowy, goldy, orange one, I need to click back on it and make them kind of single or two-way again. So we're going to just quickly do that. There we go. And this one, last one. So now what we do is click that to that, which is the opposite direction of what it's already set for. And you can see that it's two-way again, which is how I'm going to keep it, because I'm not really fussed. I'm not really fussed how it comes in, like if it goes this way, that way, whatever. Not too fussed about that. But what I am fussed about is what it does now, because I want it to be a single route, because I know I'm in the UK on Carmsden and I want it to be left-hand drive. So automatically connects like I've showed you. I've got it set up like that. We're just pressing left mouse button instead of right mouse button because we want it to be single track. And now we're going to drive. We're going to keep in mind that I'm going to be on the left-hand side of the road. So what I quickly do want to do is I want to change it to above the road. I want to change the line height to above tractor just to show you. And what you'll also notice is it takes me out of editing mode when I do that. And I think I'm still recording. Yeah, I am. But you can see the difference. So I just wanted to see like what you prefer as the viewer right now. If you're trying it for the first time, like do you prefer overhead or under? I prefer it on the ground, but it's nice to have the option. But I think I'll probably just drive in cab. But you'll see that flashing now. See it? That's the bit that I'm always kind of put off by. So if I just go back and show you the difference, go back into editing mode. Also can take that out. Let's just make sure it's still recording, which it is. I'll do it like this. now we haven't got the white flashing, we've actually got the red line flashing, which is where it sticks to the waypoint. So they're probably the same, really. They still, you know, look like they pop through. But anyway, we're recording. We're recording a route, and you can see that we're kind of sticking to the left-hand side of the road because we're on the left, and I do want it to be able to come up against each other, like two tractors meet without colliding, obviously, and just kind of bypass each other. So I've got like one tyre sitting over on that left-hand side, and we're hoping, well, fingers crossed that it's going to work. Because I'm going to be using this. You've probably already seen this by now if you've watched the Carmson video, my first episode on Carmson, because I'm going to use it to bring these tools that are my personal choice starting equipment. So here is an interesting one. Like, do we take this now and stick to the left-hand side? Probably so. There's no reason why we can't. And again, just stick to that left-hand side. I mean, eventually you'll just do the whole network, or someone will do it for us anyway. But what we want to do is we want to make sure we turn and then open the fence. I don't think there's any... Yeah, there's no collisions on them anyway, which is lucky. But we're not recording now, so let's just drive forward a little bit and see if we are. There's no collisions for us, but there is for the tractor. Right, so I've deleted the gate out. That's the beauty of it now, Carmson. Everything's placeable, so we can customize, and you know, the creativity from that's going to be amazing for console players especially, but also PC players that don't have to go into GE to delete it. But we've removed it, so I know I've got a collision on that I need to tell about Oxy, which I will do. So yeah, let's carry on. So we're going to press this one, left key. We're also going to drive forward. It's detected that I've got a reverse line, so that light blue there thinks I've reversed. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to hold Alt. I'm going to delete that one out. I'm going to carry on driving, and it will connect. But we've got a gap here, so I need to just connect them together like that. Job done. And I'm going to just do a loop because obviously up here I've got a silo and everything that we can use. So, you know, this is a silo here, fill point. We may as well just do a bit of a loop, knowing that, you know, it's probably going to be used quite a bit for the farming that we're going to do. Might be good to get my camera back. There we go. And then we can just do a left turn. But what I'm going to quickly first do is put in a waypoint, which is going to be right here on this one. We're just going to press this button here, new waypoint. We're going to call it Arable Farm because it's our main Arable Farm waypoint. Again, you can put parking points in each one of them sheds. You could call that parking 1, 2, 3, and even if you were good enough to reverse one in, you could call it 4, and it would do it perfectly. You can even have one here. You know, you might have, obviously we've got like the workshop in there. We've got the fill point for the silo. We've got the tip point and everything as well. There's loads of things that we can do. That is going to be a bit of a pain. The conflict I'm getting with the right mouse button on Courseplay. But anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on recording this and get it back so we can do. Well, what we'll do is we'll set them all going down here, just to test out. But I'll make a save before because in the Carmson video that I'm going to record after this that you've already watched, it'll start off with this equipment up at the dealership. But at least I've got this route that I've created to send it all back. But we want to try and stay as far left now, like I did on the way down, because we want them to be able to pass each other. It's not going to be perfect, especially if I'm hauling something really, you know, quite large, but I'm hoping that it works, and I'm hoping it also detects that it's going to hit something and to stop. But I have to put collision detection on, which I probably will do. But it's a tight lane, so you know it's going to be difficult for AutoDrive. But I do want to see if I can make it two-way like this. If not, we can change this all up and just do a single lane kind of pass. But I think we're leaving quite a bit of room. So fingers crossed. Anyway, but I'm going to be using this quite a bit in the first episode that I do on Carmson. You've probably already seen me doing the harvest of the canola. You know, we can set it up where Courseplay's dropping in, do a bit of a montage and all that good stuff. But it is just nice to get Courseplay and AutoDrive back together. Right, so there we go. We're pretty much sorted. So what I want to do here is, for starters, I need a waypoint to appear. There we go. That's perfect for me. I'm going to stop. Just move out the way so we can see what we're doing. And what I want to do is I want to connect that one there. So really, this one doesn't have to be a two-way. So let's just sort that out. Probably about like that. So to do that, to make that back single, because we know we're going this way, I need to go backwards to cut that other side out. So I'm clicking there to there, and finally that to that. Now we know we've got a two-way up there, but everything's single from this point. And if we now go to our drop-down box, we've got arable farm and dealership. And if you wanted to make some folders, you can press the plus button in that drop-down. And what we can do is we can call it just shops, for example, or sell points, because the sell points are going to be on their own. Dealership's going to be maybe in its own, and then we'll have farms. So let's just put farm. Just put, if I can spell. Let's just put farms, for example, here. And then if we look at the drop down, you'll see and we'll notice that there isn't any folders showing. That's because even though we've created two now, I've just created a second one as well, they're not showing. So we need to go to our settings and then go to AutoDrive settings and press use folders as yes, apply. And now what you'll see is there's these two. And if we turn out of editing mode, everything's gone from here. So it kind of looks really good as you're playing. But we've got two default settings here. We've got two default things that we created. They'll always go into default naturally when you're using folders, but you can see we've got dealership and arable farm. So what I need to do is click the editing button, drag with my left mouse button, holding the arable farm into that one, and then with my left mouse button we're going to put that into the dealership folder, and that's pretty much it. Now the reason I've put a dealership in its own folder, because you never know, that is just going to have to sort that conflict out. It's irritating. But yeah, we could put different waypoints like around the dealership. You know, you could have like this here, the repair point is one, the shop, anything like that. So you could go to the shop, the store, or you could just, you know, you could have like a pickup point, for example, for equipment. You could have the repair point and everything and so on. But we've now got two folders here. We've got dealership and the farms. You know, I could call this arable farm and have everything on the arable farm in its. So if we just change that one to arable farm, go over here, click, drag that one into that, and now we can delete this one by clicking that button. We've now got arable farm and dealership. And if we turn off editing mode, we'll see that it looks nice. And now from here we should be able to set it going. So if I just set this, that I want it to go to the arable farm, even from here, what it should do is drive up with the beacons on, because we set that, and it should do a bit of a loop and come back on itself. But what I want to do is, you see that little arrow in front? We want to remove that because we don't need to see what its next waypoint is. So to do that, show next path, that's the one, show next path. So if we just put that down to no, and it's in user settings, press apply, we'll have a look. We just missed it, but they actually got past, yeah, we actually got past the traffic. So now if we go to here, again, we've got the Fiat Agri, and let's go to arable farm. Off you go. Same with this one. Arable farm. Off you go. And now we should have the 3 tractors that I've purchased for the farm on the way up. And if we have a look in the map, when it's done saving, you can see them on the way. This one's got to be close now. Yep, it's just coming down here. It's pretty much as straightforward as that. And I know that's only the basics. We just set up pretty much an A point to B point for it to drive. But AutoDrive, it is absolutely superb. To use a course play as well is even better. And I think it was a really good Christmas present for a lot of FS players to have AutoDrive back with course play as well. But now what it'll do is it will stop at this waypoint. So if we set the parking points up, you know, it would also do that, which is something we should probably do at some point. But we're waiting for the other two, and I think the other two, if I remember, were quite slow. I mean, this one's 21 miles an hour. This one's 21 as well. But you can see that they're both happily plodding along. And I think I've also got the mod on, which allows me, if I can get on it, allows me to sit on tractors while they're moving. So let's see if that works. Sticky feet. There you go. I'm finally on it. And you saw the notification pop up saying that that one had got to where it needed to be. So now it's this one. I think this won't turn off though. We won't get a notification because that's in its waypoint. So it'll just park up behind it. I mean, I feel like Farm Sim has definitely already got a lot better. Massey should be coming. If we just wait here, they should both park up and then job done. I mean, that Fiat Agri by EDO is a stunning tractor. It really is. I love the detail to it. There we go. It'll park up, and if you see, it'll stay in cab because it's waiting for this one to kind of shift out the way. It's like, you're in my spot, mate. And the Fiat Agri will do the same because she's like, you're in my spot, mate. Well, actually, no. You will be in my spot. But anyway, that's pretty much it. That is AutoDrive. It's back, finally. A longer video than I expected to do on this, I'll be honest. But if you're new to it, you can pretty much follow this video from start to finish. You can download it, boot it up like normal, put it in your mods folder, start it up. It'll ask you straight away if you want to do a network. I would suggest saying no so you can do your own. It's always better to do your own because you might make a custom farm or have something a little bit different along the way, and you can build it, you know, to your to suit your save game. But if you put it in there, start up, you now know how to at least do an A to B route and record, and just let your imagination go. Try it out. Keep an eye on my channel though. I will be doing some tutorials on each one of the modes. So we'll go through the combine mode. We'll go through pretty much all of it. We'll try it all out, and I'll show you how to do custom routes. Also turns as well. There's a nice way of doing kind of like junctions, because junctions can be a little bit difficult, because if you, the best way to do it, my advice, if you're going to just go straight in and do it before you've seen, you know, any of the tutorials, always record your courses with a trailer on, because most of the time you're going to be hauling a trailer. So do it one of your biggest trailers so you can kind of, you know, record them corners and how you're going to turn with that trailer. So when it does follow it, it's going to take, you know, it's going to always have the right turning, just in case you've got that trailer on the back. That's what I would do. But hopefully it's helped you. If it has, give the video a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator.